Hey, what's going on, everybody? And thanks for joining us again. We're special, and we're ready to have some fun. On the docket for today, Billie Eilish says men don't face criticism about their bodies. Yeah, right, you cow. Should people be able to sell their organs for personal profit? We got a good guest in the house today. We're going to bring Don on, and we're going to be breaking it all down with Don Lloyd. So this is going to be a hot one that I think we're going to have fun with. Maybe my sister, the pharmacist, might make it here in time to pick our brain a little bit on the topic too. Otherwise, we're going to be wrapping the show up with a good time on Friendly Feud, Thanksgiving edition. So thanks to all of you that joined us on our story and answered the poll so we could get an accurate depiction of what the populace thinks when it comes to all these Thanksgiving topics. But that being said, the reason for the live show is to get you involved. So please be sure to dive into the comment section so we can get you involved in the dialogue. Otherwise, let me kick it off with my co-host and my good friend, David Cunningham. How you doing, buddy?
Hey, as always, doing pretty well. It's getting a little colder. We're here for Thanksgiving, which, Thanksgiving's a dying holiday. I'd have to say. I was thinking I was going to dying. I was thinking about wearing something Thanksgiving themed, and what does that mean? Dress up as a turkey? Just wear a flannel? I don't know.
Like a lumberjack like us.
Yeah, this is the best I could come up with here today. So really, Thanksgiving's anymore just a planned catering day. So it's you'll have that. But Alex, we can't do this show without our man behind the keyboard, the wizard, some would say. Brian, how are we doing today?
Doing well. BC Mall here. Get your ski passes. About to run out on that, and I do love a good catered day. So
it is a fine catered day.
I'm all about the Thanksgiving day.
Smooth. I like that. Now, that being said, we got to talk about the world's favorite cow.
You're a little fired up on this one here.
All right, so Billie Eilish says men don't face criticism about their bodies because girls are nice. My ass. Okay, this is the quote. Nobody ever says a thing about men's bodies. If you're muscular, cool. If you're not, cool. If you're rail thin, cool. If you have a dad bod, cool. If you're pudgy, love it. Everybody's happy with it. You know why? Because girls are nice. They don't give a F. Because we see people for who they are. I've never heard a louder crack of horse manure than that. Brian, real quick, if you could, so this lady's just wild. That being said, can you pull up the picture? I want the first picture of Billie. So here's the deal, Miss Eilish. This is why you're facing criticism. It isn't because of the way you look. Go to the actual picture.
Okay.
To the right on the top right.
There you go.
Oh, yeah, that one.
Yeah.
All right. So this is why you have criticism. Because you're going to the mall or the grocery store looking like a booger. I mean, how else do I describe you? So here's the deal. Now, Brian, in comparison to that, can you show all the different pictures of her? Oh, yeah. So here's the thing. You love the praise of how you look and people being attracted to conventional beauty when you put work into it. When you put makeup on, when you doll yourself up, when you're going to the Grammys and everybody's taking pictures saying how beautiful you are, well, that's when conventional beauty's fun. But when you and then what do the women say? Well, I just want to be able to go to the grocery store without being judged. My dad would beat my ass if I went to the grocery store in sweatpants. I know, a little too much of a high standard. At the same time, though, my dad or my mother would not resonate at all with this position because you look, here's the deal. Ashton Kutcher, who doesn't catch gripe on his way to the grocery store as you did. Yeah, well, he knows better. He puts on pants, throws on a cap, maybe some sunglasses, goes through mostly unnoticed. You've dyed your head to look like a highlighter. There is no way you're going to the grocery store without the whole world seeing you look like a trash bag. You could look like a trash bag and slide under the radar if you didn't put a giant billboard that says, "Look at me" on top of your head. That also being said, let's truly acknowledge this standard of beauty that women play victim to and are so crippled by. It is nature. And we are lying to ourselves if we believe we still live in any remnants of a world where women do not take physical characteristics into consideration. I will admit, you look at some of the older generations, there are some men who have women out of their league because they're successful and just moderately successful. They're not Elon Musk. They're just a moderately successful man that'll bring you home a meal, give yourself a child, and raise a solid family. That used to be what we looked for. But this is what we did. We took women at a very young age, a whole generation of them, and told them all these stories of the Fonzie that was just a male pig. Oh, you're dating the same guy I am? Every story revolved itself around how men were pigs. At the same time, you convinced men to tuck their ding-a-ling and be a little bit. We pussified men. And for the better in many ways. Let's acknowledge that I'm not sitting here opining for a life where I could beat my wife. It's actually pretty good that we've gone such lengths to have a more even partnership. And it should be the only thing you want out of this is a team player, a partner to conquer the world and raise a family with. But that used to work when women were the deciders and they didn't have 50,000 strangers in their DMs that are better than you, just happen to live in a different state. The sexual marketplace has totally evolved and changed. And for you to say that a sexy man in Kentucky slides into your DMs, that you in any way are still entertaining or acknowledging the regular guy, that's a total lie. Finally, this is my point. You're going to sit here and say that there is no criticism and shallow decision-making when it comes to sexual partners when women are deciding in men. However, there is not a man on this planet that can find success on these digital dating apps because we can, without displaying their height, because we've gotten so shallow and height supremacist that we won't even consider any mate under 6 foot. And we've seen on TikTok all the women that now in interviews, one, it's a microaggression to just be approached by a stranger. You can't be hit on in public. So we're forced to these digital platforms. And then on top of it, you sit there and say that, oh, well, anybody that doesn't make $100,000 a year and is under 6 feet doesn't exist in my world. But we're going to pretend the rail thin guy and the dude with man boobs is just as equally a sexual candidate for Billie Eilish, somebody who could pull somebody off of an Abercrombie bag. Yeah, I'm not entertaining that position. So that all being said, what is your thought on this?
It's a lot to follow up here on. For the most part, so I think with Billie's positions, let's take the celebrity aspect out of it. Let's just go off the words she said. That, I think there's different levels of attractiveness a man can be. So if we all remember the dad bod phase where there was, a bunch of guys kind of embraced it, loved it, really kind of made it their own thing. That's how like Chubbies became a brand.
But then very quickly, women became victimized by the sheer concept of that. And so now, just out of pride, strength, and independence, and owning your power, it is now a discredit to consider a man body, and taking our womanhood back, that is nowhere near on the marketplace today.
Well, I disagree a little bit. 'Cause there's different types of beauty. I think a woman approaches is like you have the tall, skinny kind of emo guy. You have your Abercrombie model. You have your athlete, your football. So there's different levels of type of attract. Like Mr. Clean. Even like being bald can be attractive. There's a lot of attractive bald guys out there, and being bald is maybe part of that like part of their thing. That's their shtick for being a bit more attractive. Where I think
so. Are you going to make the claim then that being bald does increase?
Well, it can be
sexual appetite.
Well, it can be. I mean, it definitely.
But it does.
Like it can be. Like, there's all sorts of attractive
Why is every
bald
man
people.
so deathly insecure of their hair?
Well, because you really got to own it if you're bald. That's the big thing. You have to own it, and
but there's no in between either.
There
right?
is no in between.
You don't get to have a receding hairline. You either throw yourself in the deep end, and you have to, because that's also a major piece that we select. And you're allowed to have preferences.
Oh yeah.
But to pretend we don't have preferences is stupid.
Yeah, but I don't necessarily think. I think for the most part of this is probably media influence as well.
Oh,
so
totally.
you'd see we're starting to kind of come away from that. Now you're seeing like Victoria's Secret models are being a little bit bigger. Maybe they're having different hair colors. They're not always blonde. They're not always rail thin. But I think the evolution of attractiveness for men, I think, follow a little bit of the Kim Kardashian. Have you ever heard of the Kim Kardashian standard?
What? Giant chest, giant.
No. So if you see over the years, Kim Kardashian has
mellowed down and become more of a regular shaped human.
Used to be. That's kind of, you could almost see the antithesis of like the big ass came from Kim Kardashian, really throwing that out there, being very curvy. Then you have the lips. And now she's trying to move, and she's moving more to a slender frame, a little bit more ghost-like, not quite as tan, dark and tan as she was. And you're seeing kind of fashion move that. Now, is that media influence? Is that her under her own agency? It's hard to say, but it's not. There's definitely, I think there's more standards of beauty when it comes to like the male attractiveness, where women kind of fit under really mostly like one of probably 2 or 3 categories. You can be rail thin, model thin. You can be thick, or you can really own whatever space you're in. Like, the big titty goth girl. That's starting to come back into, it's the 90s and the early 2000s come back all over again. That's attractive now. Yeah, I'm getting some head shakes here in the audience. We all know it. It's a good look. It's a real good look.
There's some passionate people in the audience.
But I also, on the other hand of that as well, I think men are just incredibly more aggressive about going after women than women are going after men. So you probably see, like, do women really need to go after men? Not really.
No, they don't.
Because we're just so aggressive going after them. Like if you put on.
So how about this? I want to address that point directly, because I think aggressive has a connotation, and I mean it by the literal sense of your definition.
Okay.
Yeah, sure. I agree. That also being said, there's a chemistry, there's a nature to this whole aspect too.
Yeah.
Why are they so? You ever hear, and excuse my language, post-nut syndrome? We've all heard of it. We all know of it.
Yep.
And it's because the chemistry in a man's brain, something that we all know, we all can resonate, is there is a switch in our brain the second we reach climax, right?
Yep.
That being said, we are driven not necessarily to find our partner all the time. Something I have disdain for my sex is if we're a team, like as if I have any connection to you because of that. No, but we'd share something. That being said, something I don't like in men is this natural fabric to them where they need to have sex.
Yeah.
And it becomes so necessary. Something I don't relate to as much. But I see it in my counterparts that they need it so bad, and the pool of opportunity has gotten so shallow, and it's been such a long time that when we were in college, there was a guy that called it hog hunting. We're going out hog hunting tonight.
And in my college, it was whale hunting.
Come out with the biggest hog. That being said, like guys are willing to lower their standard significantly
Oh, yeah.
just for the night. And what you'll have is a group of hogs that think they can corral Abercrombie models. Then they think all men are pigs and hate all men because that guy just needed to climax.
Yep.
He needed his nut and left. And the reality is, you were never within his sexual marketplace. You were never in the ballpark or even the league. But this delusion is peddled because men are so desperate for it that they go down in leagues. And I don't like talking this higher and lower, but the lower rungs of the female sexual marketplace get to live under the delusion that they're higher valued than they actually are because guys need it and they still get it. And this gets to why a concert gets shot up or a grocery store gets shot up. And the vast majority of them are men. Because the reality is that man whose psyche was broken is an incel. They are involuntarily celibate.
Yeah.
And you don't have that in women. You don't. They find the lowest rung you could find. That person, if needing it, walking out into the street saying, "Give it to me." There is someone willing to give it. But that is not to be said about the lowest rungs of men. And with their nature needing it as such a fabric to their existence, not achieving that end will break a man and drive them to these hellish ends. Not justifying it, explaining to why we reach these ends of roads.
Oh yeah, you get more desperate, and with that desperation just starts leaching into other aspects of your life. And I think that's where we see the aggression. Just also, and not even so. Let's call aggression like you're going to a bar and you're really hitting on somebody. She's not giving you any signal she likes it, and you just keep going forward. Yeah, that's not great. But also, men are just a bit more proactive about reaching out to women, seeking more women, and I think when you've heard probably one of my least favorite conservative talking points is like the lonely male syndrome, where you have guys that just single men that can't just seem to date women, they can't figure it out, and all of a sudden they go into drugs, they do all these nasty things, and I think part of it is just like we talked about a couple of weeks ago, that there's a lost art with Tinder. About having to like reach out and talk to women. It's something we're just kind of like the calculator's long division. You're just slowly moving away from it. Now you're sliding in the DMs because that's your easiest way and the quickest way to talk to women. And I think women have just seen. I would love to just see some not just like normal attractive women's DMs just on the normal. Because I bet
I'm sure it's terrible.
It's probably every other day you get 2 or 3 people just going, hey,
strangers.
Hey,
you probably got the random person you haven't seen in your local community forever. And you're oh God, way to make that awkward. And then on top of it, you've got total strangers from all across the world.
Yeah.
Not even going to deny there are real hurdles that women face on a daily because of this. But that all being said, from 2000 to 2020, more than 800,000 people died by suicide in the United States, with male representing 78.7% of all suicides that happened between those dates, 20 years. So almost 80% of them are males killing themselves.
Yep. And I think that goes back to just being, in general, more proactive.
It's true.
You're more proactive about reaching out to women. You're more proactive about killing yourself.
It's true.
I'm sure. I think the addiction angle is probably. I bet men are more likely to be addicted to things, regardless of what gambling, sex, drugs, rock and roll, guns, whatever. They're more likely to be addicted to that than I think the women.
Do you know anything about that?
Are more likely to be
addiction. Are men more likely to be addicted to things than women? This is our on-site doctor. Yes.
Okay.
Doctor says yes.
We don't need to do any more research. That's it. I'm correct. But yeah, they're just more proactive. I just
that too.
So when you see like the crime rates and all that, it's just more men doing it because they're more proactive about being involved within and then it goes to the best parts of society and it goes to the worst parts of society. So
it's true. I guess the rock and the hard place I face is this. Something me and my sister resonate all the time. When you're talking about men and women, because we are one and not the other, it
Mhm.
very quickly becomes a team talk.
Yeah.
Like when I say men can beat women in sports, I'm saying the best girl in the WNBA cannot beat LeBron. Both of
No.
them beat me.
Yep.
So the disassociation we have in these dialogues is like, I'm not speaking for myself as a team, all of us. But at the same time, this is the problem, is when you go, all us women
Yeah.
are really being oppressed by sexual standards and you aren't. But I want a guy that looks like, even if it is, I want a pudgy guy that what if your perfect soulmate loves going to the gym? But I like pudgy guys that look like my dad and did that. At some point, like, you have preferences.
Yeah.
And being able to make bold statements like men don't face this at all because women are nice. One is just delusional.
Yeah.
But two, like, let's have a reality check here that, like, you may be experiencing scrutiny around men that aren't, but to say all men don't, or all men or all women are being just as oppressed, like, I'm sure Paris Hilton loves the standard of beauty as she capitalized on it for a solid 4 decades.
Yeah.
So that all being said, she's got to be over her 40s, right? Right? How old's Paris Hilton? Now I'm curious.
If I were to take a guess, she's
Brian,
like
while you're looking
35.
it up, we had some comments.
Oh,
I know I'm throwing a lot. Hey, can you juggle 3 more plates?
But on to your point, so
42 years
42.
old. See? So she was hot since she was 2.
Okay.
All right. Oh, all right.
So yeah, we do have some comments.
Ooh, we got a cocktail of comments
We got
here.
a cocktail of comments.
Scatner on
I
here.
saw the guy from CSI come up, and I'm
Yeah.
like, what are
Ooh,
we doing?
all right.
I'm not gonna try to pronounce her commenter name. He thinks you guys both look like Gary Sinus.
Hey, I'll take it.
We're both.
Oh,
we both.
if I
look like
had,
it?
it's like
I don't see it, but he really
Oh my
sees
God,
it.
I got
He
it.
sees it in the face.
The face.
This is like the CSI opener. Let's just say the guy was in a car and the car was on fire and his charred body's in the driver's seat. That guy was cooked. That's the beginning of my CSI episode. So again, in wrapping, my final thoughts are this. I think if you just look through your narcissistic lens of your oppression, you're never going to see all the people that are also in the same boat. Whether they've got a thing dangling between their legs or not, you'll probably learn more often than not, we're probably all relating the same types of struggles.
Yeah.
Whether it's in their own niche, everybody's got their own insecurities. Do you know how many times I brought it up to you before, and it's not because it's ever on my mind. It literally doesn't exist to me, but I have a mole. The only place it exists is on the internet. And it's only when a video goes far enough that then you've got 1% of people that are trying to find the one thing you're insecure about. And they just pick at it. To me, it doesn't exist. It doesn't affect my life. But in my youth, it was a struggle where people would pick on it. And I would let it exist at a point where you either conquer your existence. I'm never going to be above 6 foot. This is me, take it or leave it. And let's be real, the people that are leaving it shouldn't even be in your life to begin with. So my point is this. You went to the grocery store looking like a booger, and everybody around you told you looked like a booger. And then when you go on the red carpet, you look like a goddess in your dress. People don't waste time to tell you how great you look. So maybe, last point, women love saying, I don't do my makeup for you. I do my makeup for me. And the reality is it isn't for you.
No.
You do it for the other women around you. So also understand you feel pretty in that dress, not just because you feel pretty in that dress. That's part of it, but also because everybody around you is telling you're pretty in that dress. So when everybody around you is telling you look like a booger because you went to the grocery store, know that it isn't personal. It's because Anna Hall, the track star, looks like a goddess when she goes to the grocery store, and you still look like a booger. That's my wrapping thought.
Well, I think my wrapping thought is when we see celebrities out there. So like just to pull up the example you had here with Billie Eilish, shows that social media and definitely Hollywood really shows your best side. You got to remember when you're looking at Instagram, you're looking on Facebook, it's your highlight reel. You're not posting your most unflattering picture out there. You're not doing it. You're not intentionally doing that. So when you see, have you ever seen a picture, like just someone taking a random picture of you, you go, oh my God, who's that?
Yeah,
What's that ugly troll
that.
doing over here? And I think that's one thing we always seem to forget with these types of scenarios is, well, I want people to see my best side, but I don't want people to see my worst side. And I think social media is definitely trained our generation, past generations, even future generations, that this is, you must always look like this. And if you don't look like this, something's probably wrong with you. So I bet a lot of that angst just comes just from that touch point alone. But yeah, you're fired up on this one. This is a hot touch point for you.
I'm insecure about my body, and I don't like you telling me that it's me. No, it's because if I just kept getting bigger, I'm going to have less people interested in me. And you telling me that's not the case is an utter lie. And what you're doing is encouraging people to just keep shoving pie in their face and going to the McDonald's drive-thru and going, it's all of you, not me. But yet I'm sure you have a personal trainer or a dietitian. So you do care about these things. You know the reality of them, but you also perpetuate on a mass scale to the youth that, yeah, go ahead. Titties are big man titties. Those are great. Those are fine. Not a problem. Like,
yeah.
All right. Wrapping thought, Brian.
I think Billie Eilish and most celebrities are living in a bubble, but that's another rabbit hole.
Perfect point.
And what was that Gold member or
Yeah.
Austin Powers 2 where he molded hones
Gold
in?
member.
Yeah. Okay, it was a gold
Shabba
member.
guacamole. See, we had to end on picking at my insecurity, but men have no uphill battles. Thanks, guys.
You're welcome.
All right, so real quick, we're gonna bring a transition and bring in Don. Allison, if you feel comfortable and triggered at all by some of the things Don's gonna say, and you want, I might ask you to chime in because this is the organ donating. If you would like, you can go to Brian. Allison had Mrs. Lloyd, didn't you? This is her husband.
Oh wow! Small world out here.
She is the luckiest woman on the planet.
And she's everybody's favorite English teacher.
She sure is.
Yeah.
You're taking the helm.
Yeah, you get the good spot here. Get the good camera angle.
Me and David, we're sharing a frame. All right. So that being said, I'm going to introduce the topic. This next topic is going to be: should people be able to sell their organs for personal profit? Now, some of the things I've learned through the dialogue. My sister's a pharmacist. You're going to sit there, yeah, wherever you want. I'm saying if you want to come in and talk, just pop your head to Brian. There might be a point where I ask you a question if it comes up.
My man titties are getting in the way.
Yeah, same. But Billie Eilish says they're yummy. So in the discussion of should people be able to sell their organs for personal profit, I asked Don to kind of present it in a policy manner. What would this look like if you were to implement it? So that way we could, one, discuss what it looks like in its implementation, period, making it more practical. And then the theory of it, period. Just what's it like in a society? What does a society lead to where people can sell their organs for personal profit? So please take the stage.
Hi, everybody. Well, first off, I think we need to just kind of realize the why behind my argument here. Let me ask both of you. Do you believe that you own yourself?
You would like to think so. For some reason, I own the baby that floats inside it, but not the kidney.
Yeah. I mean, and a big part of that is a big part of my coming to this conclusion is just the idea that if people are going to take the absurd notion that they own the body inside their body, in other words, a pregnant woman, then we're going to continue this on to the not absurd notion that we all have self-ownership. I own Don Lloyd. Now, how does somebody define ownership? Well, I think the best way to define ownership is to ask yourself, can I sell what I own? I own a house. Well, I have shared ownership in a house.
Yep.
My wife owns part of that house. The bank owns a whole heck of a lot of that house. But there's a process in order to be able to sell that house.
Correct.
Same with a car. Same with, I'm a guitar player. Same with guitars. I own lots of guns. So when I want to sell a gun to my neighbor or buy a gun from my neighbor, I can just do that because we own those things.
Right.
Why can't we, upon our death, sell our organs?
So this is just strictly speaking death.
Well, no, because technically, I could donate a kidney and live with one kidney. I could donate a lobe of my liver,
Yep.
or a portion of
Yep.
a lobe of a liver.
You can donate blood, plasma, hair,
Well, I'm not talking about donating. I'm talking about selling.
selling. Okay.
Yeah.
And that's part of the problem. So, okay, I do want to talk about, because we're going to have to bring this to a practical implementation for the
Yes.
reason that we're going to have to live in a real world where insurance owns us, right? And so all medical decisions and applications come through insurance. And really, we are the highest grossing entities in our country are insurance companies
They are.
for a reason. So you sell your kidney for your own personal profit. What that's also going to lead to is skyrocketing insurance rates, where now you're going to have to pay hand over foot because you're not as biologically able as you were before. You're more of a liability today, one kidney less than you were yesterday. So it's going to have to impact your insurance rates.
Okay. So let's suppose then that we just focus on the death part.
Okay.
So let's look at some death stats. Right now, only 3 in 1,000 people die in a way that lends itself to organ donation. Okay. 3,500,000 people die in the United States in the last time the records were kept. So I think we might be on 2019 or whatever that was. Okay. So I did some math, and not sure if I'm doing my math correctly, but I came up with 10,500 people.
Okay. Died?
No,
Or-
that their deaths lended themselves
To
to
donate.
be able to donate or sell organs.
That was 10,000 what?
10,500.
Gotcha.
Coincidentally, the number of
And that's in 1 year?
that's in 1 year.
Yep.
Coincidentally, the number of people on the list for liver transplants is 10,500.
Okay. All right.
Around there. Okay.
All right.
So here's another thing that we know. We know that there are. My notes suck. Sorry, guys. How many people are on the list? There's over 100,000 people on a list waiting for an organ.
For like, just in general, like any
general,
organ.
Each
Okay.
human being can save 8 lives.
Okay.
Yep.
Perfect.
Okay.
8.
So we know that a death.
So
dead
there's
person
about
can save-
20,000 in buffer there that don't get an organ. basic
17
crude math.
people, 17
Crude.
people die every day on the list waiting for their organs. So the argument is this, okay? I am an organ donor.
Yep.
They're not going to take my liver, people. I'm telling you, probably not going to want it. But I don't know how I'll die, but it probably won't be in a state that lends itself for organ donation. Mine will be more lingering than anything. If organ donation is a wonderful thing, but if people can sell them upon death, okay? So let's think about the child that died, the 17-year-old child, 18-year-old child that died in high school, car accident. We all know somebody that it happened to, right?
Right.
Yep.
Generally, those people are really good situations where organ donation is possible.
Sure.
Okay. If that mother was asked, will you donate your child's organs? That mother might say something like, well, I want my baby just to not be cut up and just to rest in peace.
Want to be whole.
Okay. But now let's suppose that mother is told, if you decide to sell your child's organs, you're going to be able to get $60,000. That $60,000 will pay for the funeral. It'll do a number
Cover
of things.
expenses. It's
not an
lump
exorbitant
sum.
amount of money. So there's a better chance that mother will say yes. I will donate that.
It's almost
Right.
enough like a surrogacy. Like you usually get like, I think like 50 to 100,000 for a surrogate. But
Yeah. So it's that situation is going to throw more organs into the market.
Yep.
Now, as a capitalist, which I am, what happens when more inventory goes into the market?
You would say the cost goes down, right?
The cost is going to go down, but the inventory goes down. Okay. Because here's the thing. The doctors make millions on organ transplants. The hospitals make billions on organ transplants. The insurance companies pay money because that's what they're there for. But I'm a life and health insurance agent, right? Things are built into the cost of premiums because of all of those things. All of those costs would go down and we wouldn't have 100,000 people waiting for organs. We wouldn't have 17 people dying each day. Maybe we would only have 5,000 people waiting for organs. And maybe we would only have one person dying each day.
So I'd like to address the concept.
It's good.
So addressing the concept first, I want to just ask a preliminary question to get a process in which this would act. So are we saying you can elect to have your body, I guess, dissected in such a way so it can be it's not, I don't want to use, I'm trying to refrain from using the word donated. You want your body dissected and the organs graded to see if they're able to be reused. In a world where then it's deemed marketable, they then can sell them on the market. What does that look like? Is it an auction style? Is it a kidney is this much? Is it gradient based on how healthy or how high quality that
is the government
organ is?
subsidizing this as
It
well?
would-
That's the other. It's the other
the
half as
government,
well.
I don't think the government would have to subsidize.
We want the government involved as little as possible, damn it.
Yeah, I don't think the government would have to subsidize it because I think the insurance companies would actually like this because their costs would go down too because the cost of the overall operation is going to eventually go down because you'll have more doctors who are involved in it. Think about it.
How would more doctors get involved?
Because they would go into the business.
But
right?
it isn't a business. Like
No,
really,
it is
the person. So let's acknowledge what the skill is. Like this person's selling a skill. I don't know if you've ever seen the internet video of an egg inside a bottle where a Chinese physician was able to use super microscopic scissors, go in through the neck of the bottle,
cool stuff. Yeah,
cut the shell. He cuts the shell without piercing the membrane and removes a piece of the shell while the membrane still stays totally intact and perfectly fine. That is a skill. That's like Myles Garrett being or Nick Chubb lifting all of the weight in the weight room on his shoulders. A skill none of us possess. That's what makes them unique. Yeah. So I think it's an unfair assumption that more of these Nick Chubbs are going to come out of the wall because you can make money. Because now I want to really address the practicality of it. That's why I wanted to ask what it looks like because my sister's going to be the first one to jump up and exclaim the insurance situation. Insurance is going to go through the roof because they have to now make up for this additional $60,000 cost. The philosophy of this situation is we are donating our organs strictly out of ignorance because I can't sell them. And the theory would be the second I can sell them, then the hospital that makes billions makes less because that money is now going somewhere else. But that isn't how this is going to play out in practicality. Hospitals have a board of investors. They are never going to take a hit in their profits. So the profit margins, they will stay. So as a board of investors, we are going to say that the profit margins must stay the same, because the goal of this year into next year and following the next will always be to beat last year's. We're never allowed to go down.
Okay, fair enough. But you're too linear,
Right.
okay? If it costs $300,000 to do a heart transplant, which is about what it costs on the black market right now, it's about $300,000. It might be a little less in the States.
Okay.
Hell, it might be a little more in the States.
Yeah.
I don't know.
'Cause, but 300 on the black market, it's $300,000 to go. If I wanted to go buy a heart, right now, where I'd go buy my heart would be somewhere between Gaza and Israel, because those people are desperate and they need money. So
You're not even selling them to Americans. You're literally just, now it's a
No, I'm-
international.
no,
He's harvesting them from Gaza and Israel.
So this is
That's what it is.
hang on
You're
a minute,
harvesting.
hang on.
Fucking Van Helsing over here.
This is the black market today. This is what happens today. Okay, there are brokers that are going into those areas and finding poor people and saying, I'm going to get you out of Gaza.
Right. And a way to snuff out that market would be
Sell me a kidney.
Yeah.
Right. So what would happen is, let's suppose that because there are more transplants happening, the price would go, the cost would go down as well. The cost, because that's normal capitalism. The cost would go down. So if it costs $300,000 to do one, but now we're doing 30 in a year, maybe now it goes down to 200,000 or 150. So the insurance companies are still paying less. The hospitals are still making more because they're doing more, but they're making more. Think about the LASIK eye surgery. Okay, when LASIK eye surgery really started to become a popular thing, and this is why eye doctors aren't covered through major medical; they're covered through eye insurance, which is a completely different ballgame. This is stuff
And dentistry, eye, ear, nose. Doctors,
and this is the business that I'm in. That's the business that I'm in. I sell eye insurance and so forth. LASIK used to be insanely expensive. Now you clip coupons out of the Sunday newspaper. If you
what
get
was
a
the part of the
newspaper.
cost of LASIK, the actual machinery in which you were the laser to correct your eye, and then through the ability to be able to do that more, it got cheaper.
More and more, the equipment got less expensive. More and more doctors got into the business of doing it because they saw that as a good business skill to have, and so they were able to do it. If right now we have, it was an active.
Let's just say I want to see your thoughts on this theory.
Okay.
If you were to make more football teams in the NFL and it goes from 32 to 64, that does not mean there are going to be more Nick Chubbs. That just means that one Nick Chubb is just that much more special. You're going to have even the standard of what it means to be the running back of 32 team. That standard just saturated to half.
Well, yeah, of course.
Here's one of the comments I wanted to make was
I think more. I as much as I despise the CDC and the WHO, and I think they're just pathological liars, and I think that they're political hacks. Our doctors are good people that want to help, and I think that people that would normally go into one discipline would say, "Well, hell, if I can go into the organ transplant business."
So let me give you a metaphor.
I think they would
like an analogy. There was a kid that went to our high school, a kid my age. His brother was 3 years younger than me.
Okay.
And when I'm going through, we did football. I was never at breakfast unless we were there at 5 a.m. for football. Going through the breakfast line, and this kid looks at me and he says, "My mom just had another baby because we were getting free lunches before, but now we can get free breakfasts." And whether or not that's the reality of why they brought life into this world, That's what this kid's perception of what, like, that's what's being communicated at home.
Sure.
Enough for
Of
this.
course,
That's what
of
this
course.
kid is projecting.
And that's in our town.
And this kid is saying that my mom just had another baby to have just free breakfast. When I say those things, it's alarmist, it's laughable. At the same time, it resonates with you, as the heart of your point is, because we know the nature of America getting money, what incentivizes us to action.
Mhm.
So it seems natural that money would incentivize even something as crazy as having an unnecessary baby. That being said, I still think there is a major theoretical assumption that more doctors are going to come out of the woodwork as demand increases. We only have so many sophisticated people. I also think we have a system that's consciously created to make us dumber and weaker.
Well, we do. Yeah. So our educational system has completely collapsed. There's no question about it. We do need to fix that.
So,
right?
so that being said,
we pull people from Europe, from Southeast Asia, from the Middle East, that are very brilliant people that are able to do this work. Why not, instead of having them working on the black market, which is a massive market for organ selling and transplanting and taking advantage of the poor people in Gaza and in Israel.
Lucrative, and it always will be more lucrative.
It doesn't have to be. We can do it here.
But again, you just said $300,000, right?
It's going to drop.
In a world
it would drop here. But I mean, they get to live outside of the bombs. They get to live where I mean, seriously, freedom and liberty, sort of.
Well, so wait, are you saying we're going to be immigrating people?
Well, we do it every day. We immigrate docs every day.
So we're just going to.
When was the last time when was the last time you like went to an American doctor?
Sure, that's a great point.
Every
day.
Well,
I take that back.
Every day.
I take that. They're all Americans, because once you come to America, you're an American.
Yes.
When was the last time like you had
conventionally white doctor,
a conventional Northern European redneck doctor? When was the last time?
And
they're out there.
Almost
they're
never in my life.
You're probably not finding them in Cleveland, but they're probably in the more rural communities. They're out there.
There was plenty that went to Miami and Toledo.
I had one doctor named Smith. The rest of them were Ahmed and Patel. And I have
I trust him more because of that name.
Of course I do.
So I want to pick at your owning topic here. So if you have the ability to own, and you have ownership of your, or if you have ownership of the ability to be able to sell, because it's not. I think we own our organs.
I own my body. I own my body.
And I think you've always owned your body. If I were to come in here and steal your kidney, well, I'm stealing from you.
You are,
because of that ownership.
Well,
you have.
Well, actually, you're committing your crime, a violent crime, because you're stabbing me.
Correct. Yep. But again, I'm stealing, and it's stealing something because you have ownership of it. I think it's more apt to think it's you have the right to sell. You have the ability to be able to sell within an open regulated market, that like a marketplace. Yeah. If you're able to sell it and you're able to own it, you're probably able to lease it, throw it in as collateral. I could easily see a scenario where you have, well, hey, you're down on your mortgage payment and you're behind on some medical bills here. How about we collateralize your kidney?
Well, you have to be careful, because Americans suck at healthy.
Yep.
Exactly. So what do? Like when they say universal basic health care, when they're talking about universal health care,
run. When they say that, run, people, because it's going to suck.
The major downside to that is if 80% of America's medical expenses are fat related, Billie Eilish, then the reality
come on.
Then again,
gotta call a spade here.
Exactly. As the Richmond, north of Richmond said, I don't want to have to pay for your face full of Rolos and chocolate cookies.
Yeah.
So that's a major problem too, is there's going to be people that want to throw them. So
well, let me ask you, well, don't you think that if someone said, if someone knew that he could eventually sell his organs and not have to buy life insurance, because as a life insurance agent, I guarantee you the companies that I represent in life insurance would hate this idea, because they're like, well, what would be the benefit of them buying life insurance if they can just give up their kidneys?
And that's
Right?
the reality.
Right. That is a
And
reality.
insurance owns us.
Insurance does own us in that sense. However, don't you think people, if they're thinking, okay, I'm poor, I can't afford life insurance premiums. If I take care of my body, then my organs will be worth something to my family.
I don't know if they're going to think about it that way. I'm not, because you
yeah,
have like, you own a house. Let's say
Okay.
the poor people that have, you know,
Can I
Okay.
Can I ask
All
you
right.
a question? Wife, kids, because I don't know your story.
He's got a
wife.
You got a wife, no kids yet.
No
Okay.
kids.
I think about all of those things, like every little possible thing that I can think of to send down to posterity. I think of.
But you're not poor.
I'm
You're not poor. You're not living in poverty. You're not
I'm
living
Brexville poor.
and that you're not conventionally.
Right? I got four kids. Some are in college. My 19-year-old has more money in his bank account than I do because I pay a mortgage.
But you're not conventionally
No,
poor.
of course
so that's not.
No, I'm not.
So you're thinking about things maybe a little bit differently than your average.
That's true.
A
Yeah, fair
person
enough.
that is.
But I grew
very
up
much
poor.
in
I
poverty.
grew up pretty poor.
Okay.
Like we didn't have money or food or things like that. We had long sticks of cheese that said cheese. on
Were
the
you
box.
when you were eating your long
we got
sticks of
for
cheese?
free.
Were you
was
worried
good.
about what your kidneys were doing and how your liver was acting?
No, I never worried about my kidneys because
It was government cheese.
I didn't give a
Yeah.
but I think that if we're able to start changing the attitude of Americans, then it's possible that we
I don't
could
know.
have
I don't
that.
know. I don't see selling your organs at death is the way to go about doing that.
I think you're right.
Can it help to a certain I think the people
For
who
some-
care are
there's
the ones
pe-
that are already caring.
It's going to reach out to
That's
it-
a fair. That's a
it's
great
it's gonna hit some people, but then again, those people still have to be the one in 3 in 1,000, because that's the other thing.
So
It's
so I just
3
want
in
to
1,000.
make, again, keeping this a grounded theory. What does it look like? You elect to have your body examined. They hack it up to see the health of it, and you've got too fatty of a heart. You were a drunk, so your liver's trashed. Like, do they pick and choose things that
Yeah,
are
of course,
moderate?
yeah.
They get rid of those that can't
Yeah,
be used.
yeah.
And so are there worlds where you've got somebody who has elected to have their body examined, because you're not donating it, you're having your body examined, they're hacked up to no avail. And now, like, I feel like you're gonna have people disincentivized because, well, even if they were on the cusp, I don't want to have my body diced up and then just thrown away.
Mhm.
Or so I just want to first, before we move on,
and on that
what
too-
does it look like? Like, what does this system look like? You donate your body, then what? Each
Well, no,
organ has a
we are
graded
not
value?
donating anything.
Right.
We've got to get out of this donating
you-
thing. The reason we have blood shortages is because we donate blood.
Right.
Like, let's stop donating blood and let's start selling blood and get rid of blood shortages. And then we wouldn't have blood shortages.
But then the hospital's profit margins would be cut into,
Fuck
and
that.
they'd have something.
Excuse
to say.
me. I don't care about the hospitals. Why is everybody so worried about? I know you're not worried about the hospitals, but why are people worried about the hospitals? Like,
Because healthcare, playing devil's advocate, they'd say because healthcare currently is unaffordable. This is going to make it more unaffordable.
so to me, this sounds like a political issue where Congress, who wrote the organ law, is bought and paid for by all of these other organizations.
Well, there's only one country in the world that actually sells organs that's
Iran does a great
that's
job.
the
with
only
it.
one, and that's would you call Iran maybe a well-run country government?
No.
So I don't know
Of
if that's
course not. Of course not. But they figured it out.
Yeah, well, they figured out because they had no other options, and they're
And
not
there's
a well-run
people's organs
country.
are falling
Because
out of
no
their
one's
body.
because no one's willing to work with Iran anyway.
Yep.
Right? I mean, we've all watched the Grey's Anatomy and all that stuff where a patient is in Grey's Anatomy was in Chicago. So a patient died in Florida and we need to get their heart on ice, and they put it in a little ice bucket and they do this thing. And that wouldn't have to happen.
Well, it would, depending on the nature of the type of surgery.
Of course, yeah.
Your last kidney is failing,
and
it's
everybody still has to match and all those things because there's matching and all that stuff. But in a city like Chicago, where people are dying all the time because they just shoot each other, right? There's going to be.
So I want to.
Hold on. You bring a really
available.
Good point here.
Inventory is going to be available.
That I could easily see a scenario where you have some seedy underbellies that are very much you go into some bad gambling debt, you go into some different types of debt, and you're in a bad spot.
So
well, hey,
yourself or your family.
Hey, how about you off yourself here? I can unload the debt. You get your mom gets a.
That's called the black market. So
it's not that wouldn't be the black market. That would be
that's out.
You'd still have to have a broker who would do it because
now the broker would have different interests
and now like a real estate broker, now somebody else has their hands in what would be your wife's profit
and the ownership of what you have. You can lease your in this scenario you would be able to lease your organs upon death. Now it's you to be used as collateral. And once you open that floodgate, I think the reason we don't sell anything outside of maybe hair, I think you can sell your hair.
Yeah, you can. You can. So all right. So I want to define what a right is.
Okay.
I think that's where we need to go.
Okay.
First. Okay. A right is something that exists simultaneously among people.
All right.
It does not confer an obligation upon anybody else.
Okay.
And it does not violate the rights of anybody else.
Okay.
That is what a right is.
Yep.
So if I have self-ownership, I should be able to sell my organs under any pretense that I choose to. And the reason
to that.
Right.
Yeah.
And if we're going to live in a country that is moving toward we can kill babies up until the moment of birth because they think that it's their right, then I think that I should have a right to every part of my body.
Okay. Well, so you own your house. Do you have a right to own your house?
I do have a right to own my house. Yeah.
Can you use your house as collateral?
I can.
Yep. Can someone take your house away if you don't uphold your end of the bargain?
Yes.
Yes. Given that, let's replace your house with your liver. You can do the same thing, and there's incentive for someone to be able to get you in a position.
Put my children.
But can you take the kidney
I would
back?
not put my children under the roof of my liver. I'll tell you that right now.
But we're not talking about you are one person. Maybe
that was
you
a
are
metaphor.
Yeah, I understand. But you can't you have ownership of you can't put your kids under your gun, and you have ownership of that as well. And can you not use that as collateral for all sorts of different things?
Well, my guns aren't that expensive.
Yeah. Well, you can have collateral for a cheeseburger.
My best gun is $2,000.
But you see where I'm going though,
Yeah.
right? If we allow the ability to be able to sell organs outside of hair.
I think we would start upon it would be something that would start upon death, right? Just to bolster the inventory. There's an old adage that if Congress controlled the desert, in 2 years there'd be no sand.
Okay.
Because
that
they
all
destroy
being
the
said,
inventory.
that being said, one of the things that I want to address is, okay, there's this conflict between insurance and people profiting, this balance between those that are the beneficiaries of this new system and those that aren't. You had made the comment, as I totally agree with, but laughably, we make the comment, if somebody brings up universal basic income, you must run. But also you acknowledge that we are pigeonholed by what stalemates the situation is insurance. So I would have to make the claim, or I would inquire, does that mean that you'd be willing to concede that this system must come in tandem with the elimination of insurance, which would be a universal healthcare system? Because as long as we need insurance to be able to afford just to have a cough and go to a checkup, let alone get my organs hacked, then insurance is going to right this wrong immediately, and we'll never be able to actually profit off of this. And in fact, they're going to be so pissed that we tried to profit and pull this little maneuver that we're going to be deeper in a hole, because that's how this system works.
Or they'd set it at such a low flat rate.
Ex-
Because you're hearing your kidneys go for what, 75, 100,000, like ridiculous amounts of money. Now the insurance companies go, sorry, it's only $5,000.
So good luck.
And it's every
Now you gotta
kidney,
afford it.
$5,000.
And now the person who lives in Garfield that would have just been on a list and been next in line, and the system they paid into would have catered, liaison them through the whole situation. Now they can't even compete in the bidding war, because that's what it turns into.
Yeah. So as soon as we get to a universal healthcare insurance plan, which we won't, because I think our country will collapse and reset before we get there. 12 months, by the way.
Okay.
Well, almost 12. It's a little less than 12 months.
All right.
When is that? What is our election date?
Yeah, November.
What is
Yeah, so now we're
what is the
creeping
first
11
Tuesday?
11 months and 2 weeks.
What's the first Tuesday after the first Monday in November?
But see, Don's still under the juvenile assumption that we're gonna have an election. I can't wait until you all come and you're awakened to the fact that they declare martial law and we don't even have an election.
I think it's going to be like one party's going to have an election. November 5th.
Yeah, so 11 months and a couple
I don't
weeks.
necessarily know
2
that
weeks,
there's
a
going to
week
be
and
an election per se, but they'll be voting.
Yeah,
they'll be voting. Universal healthcare will destroy it, because universal healthcare drives the cost of everything up. And it drives the waiting list up. So here we are with our semi-universal healthcare that we have in the United States right now, and we have a list of 100,000 people waiting for
organs,
and 17 people dying every day. Now that's 6,500 people a year or something like that are dying. It's not a tremendous amount of people.
No, and it's hard to say if that's someone who needs an organ. Well, I found out both my kidneys are failing tomorrow.
Yeah,
and
I'm
better than a year.
So from a kidneys are the biggest one.
Oh yeah,
there's no question about it. So you have one bad kidney, but eventually that second kidney is going to start to.
Well, do we encourage more organ donorship? Like just encouraging the organ donor.
Yeah,
program.
right now all we can do. Organ donorship is something
amazing.
that should be.
And you should be doing it.
Yeah, you should do it. It's like charity. It should be
not even that. It's beyond charity.
Wonderful. Oh yeah,
you're
saving lives.
See what
yeah,
you
no
do
question.
to another family,
I am
extending life and enhancing life. A blind person can see, or somebody gets to have their grandmother for 10 more years. Those things are invaluable. That isn't even a kind thing. It is invaluable. Right. Now, I do want to kind of start bringing this to a close. Allison, not to interrupt, but I am curious, do you have a major criticism that I'm missing? Because I think we could benefit from. She had a list, and I tried remembering them.
Did you bring
Brian
that list with you?
He's got a microphone. The reason I'm doing that is because Don, you and I talking about this, I didn't see a single problem in it. I was head over heels. You solved the world.
The details. No, the details are.
The devil is in the details of this one.
So what are some true criticisms you have of this system?
Well, I think initially you guys just don't understand the system. So the process that would go into testing and making sure you're a match and all that stuff. The black market is not doing that. They're scamming people for organs and just putting organs in, whether you're a match or not.
Now, if you are a match, it doesn't necessarily mean the organ will take at all. Is that correct?
Yeah, that on top of it.
So you still need to be a 90% match with someone to get an organ. And if they're not, sometimes they just put it in because you're sick, but hope for the best. So that plays a role into this, but also the system of getting doctors is not that easy.
Yeah.
And
see that.
So I'm a pharmacist and I wanted to go into mental health, and I said, I'm going to apply for a residency in mental health and hope that I match. But I also applied for emergency medicine residencies in case all of the psych ones filled. So whether doctors want to go into transplant or not, that doesn't mean they're going to get into it. And the physician residencies are not going to increase just because transplant increases, and pulling them from other countries, they still have to go through our training. So
So let me ask you a question. So you're saying that if there are all of these, let's suppose that the way the United States sets it up, that they do a really good job with matching, they do a really good job with getting the inventory up, because they're convincing people to sell their organs, that the hospitals still wouldn't hire more physicians to do the work, or new private hospitals wouldn't go be built in.
it's not that they wouldn't build them, they wouldn't have doctors to
staffing.
hire. Like the match system for residencies, they'll say this is not a true.
You wouldn't.
And-
Well,
and-
let's.
and that's based on academics and skill and all those things.
Yeah,
Well,
so
here's
they'll
what-
apply
okay.
into them and stuff.
That's fair. So-
they're not going to increase.
Yeah,
the
so
numbers.
that would certainly lag, but eventually I think that would start to catch up.
And I think it would look real
because
bad.
we're getting better and better at doing more and more awesome.
But I think it's
Stuff.
with this particular scenario too, you open the floodgates, and that's when the most intense demand happens.
Right.
Sure.
Yeah,
So
when
you-
open the door.
You wouldn't be able to spool up quick enough to actually take it. I hate
yeah.
to say take advantage, but definitely, I mean, that's kind of part
Yeah.
of the process here. Take advantage of the willing inventory that you have
But
initially.
I think that if something like this were to happen, which it's not going to, because our politicians and our doctors love their God complex that they own, and they're never going to give it up. They won't. They'll never give it up until November 5th,
right. When the world
2024.
collapses,
So then.
until the
So,
world
so,
Well,
collapses.
it'll be
we have
November
until
6th.
we
You
have
gotta
about
give the
until
results a
November 5th.
chance.
November 5th, everything changes. But that rollout, I think, would. I mean, we're presuming. I'm not.
That's what I was going to say.
See, you
It's
know
a
what I mean?
Here's so remember when I brought up.
Let me
Yeah,
just
please.
because I think as we throw our arguments against, which is good because that helps flesh out the problems. We're supposing that the worst case scenario is going to happen and that everybody's a freaking moron. I think that the rollout would be a very logical standard rollout.
And so I brought up that example where there's a person giving birth to a life just to get free breakfast at school, whether that's the fact of this scenario or not. Somebody said that.
Yeah.
So let's agree. When I say that, it doesn't seem too outlandish.
It's not outlandish.
That's the spirit of America.
Yeah.
Capitalize as much as you can. That being said, I think we're taking a major assumption that nature, that thread that we find in even giving birth, let alone professional endeavors, hobbies, all these things we choose kind of lead towards a more prosperous end. We want to succeed at the end of it. So because of that, it seems only natural that there would be a major increase in people willing to donate organs, because money is the driver in this world for everything. But that all being said, this world is a weird, finicky world, and we have to acknowledge, true or false, that's still a major assumption. We don't know how it plays out. We're presuming that it leads to an increase in demand, but we can't really tell. The only thing we're leaning on that leads to that is that we're driven by money in every other sector. So of course, money would drive us in this. But real quick, what was you were going to address one other thing?
And the other aspect of this is probably the increase in suicides that are going to come with this, with
And you brought that up.
I did. Yep.
fathers
Yeah.
and parents wanting to get their families out of debt. They're going to commit suicide. That pulls away their life insurance. That null and voids it. They're not getting
Well,
that money.
it does not. It
That's
does.
huge.
No, that is incorrect. It does not. It only.
No, if you kill yourself,
no,
your family
no.
doesn't.
It does not. It
I
does
think
not.
we're
It
talking
does
to
not, it does
a
not.
life insurance broker here.
Nope. Yeah. No, we're
So
talking. Yeah.
So what happens?
First 2 years of life insurance, if the person commits suicide, there's no payout. After 2 years, there is a payout on almost every policy written in the United States.
Oh, okay. So you got to wait
It's
2
a 2 year-
years.
It's a
and
2 year
then
thing.
Some might be a little longer. Some
Uh,
might be a little shorter.
yeah.
Just depends on the policy. So
Now,
yeah.
that-
Some guaranteed issue life insurance will require a 5 year, I believe.
Okay.
but just standard.
Now, what would be the investigation of that suicide? If it's, I'm assuming if it's pre-planned for the express purpose of getting life insurance, it's probably going to be void of the life insurance.
It would void the life insurance, and the policyholder or the estate would be given all of the premium back less interest.
Okay, so even if there's a divide,
Well,
regardless if it's,
I think your sister had more.
Please,
you know,
yeah.
on the
did you?
Even if you commit suicide for this, which this gets brought up a lot in my field because veterans will talk about wanting to and then
Yeah.
want to lose their insurance. Most of them are not going to be able to give their organs.
right.
Correct? So now they've
Right.
now killed themselves for no reason.
Yeah. So now they've killed themselves, and there's no benefit.
Well,
to it.
so let's educate people, and let's this is not something that one day we go from, okay, this is the last donation day. Now it's sell them if you got them. Right? It would have to be a rollout. It would have to be a plan. It would have to be something that people
You probably have to transition
would
people.
learn. Yes,
You go into a lottery system to be able to sell your organs. At
right.
death.
Yeah, and because the system could very well be inundated with organs, but we don't know if they're good because it's still not. I think that the stat of 1 in what do we say? 3 in 1,000, 3 out of 1,000 deaths. I don't know that number is going to change.
I don't think
Right.
so.
That's probably because that's just based on the way people die. 'Cause people don't want to die.
No.
I don't think you're going to find a whole lot of people that are going to say, well, I'm just going to kill myself so I can sell my organs.
You're totally going to. If your
Well, I think you're gonna see
there
more
may
of
be
it.
murders.
if your assumption is going to be
organs.
there's going to be more people willing to who don't donate are going to be willing to let their organs be hacked up because of the financial incentive, then you also have to take on the assumption that there's going to be people that are throwing themselves into that world through suicide.
Maybe. Yeah, but
Because if you're going to say money is the driver, you can't say money's driving this action, but not this. Money either drives totally or it
but
doesn't.
the money, I don't think the money would be that incredible. I think that it would be
$60,000, as you put it, would be life changing to many. That's an annual salary or 2 annual
well,
salaries.
20,000 buries the person.
Yeah.
So now we're down to 40.
Right.
Right.
But
And
again,
then
an annual-
the estate's going to have debt.
So, but again, that's 40. That's an annual salary put towards the estate that you didn't have before. So let's bring it to a close.
Okay.
I'm going to do my wrapping thoughts, pass it off to Don, David, and then maybe if the table wants to Allison, you could give your closing comments and close this thing down because I
that's
think you had
nice.
some good points. All right, my wrapping thought is going to be this. One, there's clearly going to be an increase in suicides if money's going to be the driver here. But I also do think money being a driver in all other sectors is a major assumption that it would actually affect this realm. I think it's a safe assumption, but in creating policy for a future that we don't know, we have to at least acknowledge that it's an assumption. That also being said, Don threw out a bunch of numbers. Among them was like the increase of, let's say, 100,000 more surgeries. To assume that employment demand can be met is difficult to say it's practical, only because I've seen the hurdles it takes to get to the end of the road and be classified an incompetent or unqualified doctor. There's plenty of them that did the whole thing, climbed all the rungs, did the whole monkey bars, made it to the end, and they were like, you're still a shitty doctor compared to all the doctors. So because it goes back to my NFL example, because you've added more NFL teams doesn't mean you're going to get more Nick Chubbs. It just means that there's less Nick Chubbs in the pool of people that you're talking about when it comes to football players. So I want to leave my thought on this. As somebody who's seen firsthand how impactful organ donation is to a family, extending a family's life, this is invaluable. I think you should be donating it. The crime of our dialogue is the word donate. You are giving something that is yours, away for free. You open it up with a great abortion. I mean, the fact that I can kill the thing inside of me, but I don't own my kidney is that there is a severe lack of logic there. I do see this being mine. I should be the one to profit from it. But at the same time, we don't even let hookers do that. So that there's it goes grander than your personal autonomy. And sometimes policies need to get in the way for the greater being of humanity and for your safety and society's safety. So that all being said, I want to say donate your organs. It's a huge, important thing to do. And up until you can sell them, still involve yourself in this market. Hopefully one day you can capitalize on it. At the same time, I am seeing that this is an uphill battle, a system built against that. And I feel like there's going to be a lot of hurdles that make it impractical. And until those are conquered, I don't know if we can live in that world. So to Don.
Do you think that if we're able to sell our organs, we'd save more lives? Yes or no?
Totally.
Yes.
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 Would we save more lives if we could sell our organs? Yes or no? Brian.
Yes.
Yes.
Doug.
Doug.
I'd have to go with maybe
He loves Allison. That's why.
a lot of good arguments.
Okay, so
I was one way, and then I pulled into the center. It's like everyone made good arguments.
all right, so we've had good arguments. So the reality is we are in a system that does not lend itself to have individual rights. That's what America has become. That's where we are.
Right.
It has this argument. We keep going back to the system.
Yeah.
I mean, we're not talking about how great it would be if we could do these things. We're talking about the system won't let us. The system won't let us. Maybe it's time to change the system.
Ooh.
Maybe it's time to say, let's go back to being a republic. Let's stop faking this whole democracy.
Right.
Let's start loving the premise of individual rights, where all of us have a right to ourselves, to our family, and to our own posterity. Because until we do that, everything else is total BS.
I can agree with.
All
All right.
right.
That being said,
All
rapid
right.
thoughts, David.
I could easily see this scenario devolving into a harvest, almost like farming for the poor in the benefit of the rich. And as well as this policy being inflationary in just in general, everyone has access to, let's call it $5,000 to $70,000 of quote unquote credit through their organs through one way or another. That's by definition inflationary. So you can just get inflation just by having this policy, flip that switch. So I'm not for it. I think there's a reason why we can only sell our hair, and that's about it. And it could definitely lead to just too many unattended negative consequences. While the positives are absolutely incredible, it increase life, quality of life, and just make things significantly better for those who receive. It's those who give that can be taken advantage of and be put in a position to where now their life is done for the benefit of others.
That's a perfectly presented point. All right, to the table. Brian, Allison, any wrapping thoughts?
I agree with David. I think you said it very well.
Do you have any closing thoughts? And where do you disagree on us? In closing.
I think that this is going to lead to a lot more deaths by suicide, which may or may not cancel out the deaths or the lives that are going to live on with the transplants. I think that the people that are going to donate or give their organs are people that want to help other people live on. So like, I'm going to be an organ donor because I want people to live. And I'm not using my organs anymore, so they can have them. And I don't really need the money to entice that, but I don't think being able to get money is going to save anything. I think it's going to increase the costs of a lot of things. You see it with drugs and new drugs that come to market. Just because they can be made cheaper doesn't mean that the health system's going to make it cheaper. They'll probably still make it expensive, so it's not going to come out winning. So we should just try and entice people to be good people.
I love that.
Very
Way
well
to
put.
live
All
perfectly
right,
put.
man.
All right, that all being said, now let's have some fun, play some Friendly Feud.
Yeah,
Definitely.
yeah.
We're gonna do a quick transition of the set here. We're gonna get ready for Family Feud. Friendly Feud. Don't sue me. It's Friendly Feuds.
No
Don't sue
families
me.
here.
Only friendlies. Thank you, my friend. That was very well done. I have to tell you. I know I've kept you here longer than you
I
wanted.
was going one way, Alex, but then Allison was bringing up some valid points, and I'm like, all right.
It wasn't until dinner that I thought there was an opposite side.
I was pulled.
I didn't think you could have an opposite opinion until last night. And I was like, well,
Yeah. No. Yeah.
Yeah, we heard.
Oh yeah, you're probably gonna get a little blurry from. It's only one perspective. So I'd probably get it to the edges. If it works better on the edges, probably works better that way. Yeah. Yeah. It's BC Mall. Yeah, still here.
Victory Tuesday, little people.
They
over there.
well, it'll be a victory Monday because we won on.
But it's Tuesday, so it's victory.
Yeah. Well, what about that game there, Doug?
I liked it.
You liked it?
I mean, considering we had DTR in there, man.
Allison,
Yeah. You know,
Don, I'm gonna fold up your
I'm,
stuff here for you.
I'm confident that the Browns can make after the Chiefs losing. I think the Browns make playoffs. I've seen enough here where the defense is nasty enough they can do it. I don't think they have the offense to win a Super Bowl.
Right now, only the Ravens are ahead of us.
That's it.
We're 7-3. Almost every other leader is 7-3, and then in the AFC at least. And then there's the Ravens at
8-3.
Or so were we 7-4 then?
We're 7-3.
No, we're 7-3.
7-3.
That's right. They haven't had their bye yet.
They haven't had their bye yet. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's
So they're
right
ahead.
now we're doing well. Our defense has been our saving grace.
Oh,
but
absolutely.
can DTR win us these?
Well, the more he plays, the more likely he's gonna be better. But that's also the more likely someone else is gonna be able to scheme against him. But I absolutely see us. We might. I think there's an off chance we win the division too. I absolutely believe that.
I mean, I think we can. I
Yeah.
mean, so we've already split the Ravens series
Yep.
1-1. We have split the Steelers series 1-1. If we can beat the Bengals,
Which will
then
be
that
on the
would
last
be-
game of the season.
Yeah, which
They'll
would
be
be
shutting it down.
2 in that series. So then we've done pretty well in our division. So it really just comes down to what the Ravens record is going to be at the end of the year.
Yeah.
You know, like if they're still one game ahead of us and we've split the series with them, well, then they're going to win our division. But as of right now, if you look at the NFL's website, we're in the playoffs.
Oh yeah, we
You know,
absolutely
like,
are.
We're in there.
We're not even just barely making. We are in.
We're
We are
in it.
We are
yeah,
in.
we're not the division winner,
Nope.
but we're in it because we're then up there.
Yep.
So it really is going to come down to how what the Ravens do and how well we finish off, and then those other teams. Like again, like the division leaders make it in. You know, that's by default. So right
Yep.
now, all we can hope is that we can keep up with the Ravens. And that
And the
we
Ravens
are
lose.
better than some of those second teams in those other divisions.
Yeah, I think our most difficult stretch is going to be the I think it's at Rams. What's the one before that? It's oh geez. Yeah, there we go. At Denver, at Rams, then it's Jacksonville at home.
Jacksonville.
That's going to be if we can go 2-1.
Well, really, if you win one, I think we're good.
Okay.
Steve Harvey.
Brian's back where we go. All right, Don, you're gonna be next to David. Allison,
Don, get over here.
Thank you for not using. Well, just putting it there.
Yeah.
Not painting everything.
Almost said the BF word.
Oh boy.
Next, I'm over here.
Did you guys
Come on
talk
over,
about
Allison.
the big game Saturday?
Oh, we got a big one. Real big
What
one.
did I just do?
Oh, you're perfect.
You're all right. You're all right.
Because I gotta unplug it anyway.
I'm gonna lift my-
Yeah, perfect.
I've had enough. to-
Oh, Alex, we got a big one Saturday. Oh, I'm looking forward to this one. We have no Michigan fans in this table, do we?
Oh, there are no Michigan. Kemp,
Yeah.
if Kemp was here, Kemp would be able to talk Michigan, but instead he didn't.
Who the fuck is that guy?
No one's really a Michigan fan, are they?
I mean,
you'd be surprised.
yeah, well, there are plenty of Michigan fans around here.
God, that is just
I can't believe you said the Voldemort word the week of the game.
yeah.
You're cursed.
They're
All right, you
cursed.
ready?
See yourself in camera right
Right?
now.
We're just waiting for you to.
God, I take
No.
up the whole I take up the whole frame over here.
Where did those cards go?
You tell us, leader.
You had him.
Come on, Steve, get ready.
Do 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 do. Thanks for joining us for another episode of Friendly Feud. I'm your host, Alexander Harvey, and we have two great teams with us today. Brian is actually going to be running the cameras today, so our champion team is only a half. But Allison can fill that void. We got Doug and Allison versus Don and David.
I got a doctor on my team. I feel good about this.
I was going to say the D's versus the Da's because Doug's still a D, but that's okay. We are going to start with the first. We got 7 topics, going to go with 6. The 7th is going to be a tiebreaker if necessary. 100 points for each round. Starting with the first
Steve,
round.
we need our buzzers.
Yeah, that's right. We
How
did
do
have buzzers
How do we
last
do
time.
the buzzer?
Yeah,
Here,
we
give
need
them
the
to me. No,
buzzers.
stop. What are you doing?
No, one of those is dead, so he has to grab that one.
They're dead.
One of them were.
Oh,
Two of them are dead. Oh,
How the
shit.
hell did that
And
happen?
we only have one buzzer.
Sweet.
So whoever smacks the table first, then.
Well, you smacked
I
the
wish
same
I
buzzer.
had more AAA batteries on deck.
Oh my god.
AAA is not the best size. It's all about
No,
that.
they're the worst.
So it's really whoever hits it. We'll be able to.
I have eyeballs. I'll be able to tell.
All right.
Simo, you'll be our eyes in the sky.
Yeah. If I'm missing. All right. So we're going to start with our first question going to Dougie and David. All right. First one to hit the buzzer gets to answer the question, starting with don't hit the button until I'm done saying the prompt. Okay. Name an activity you do on Thanksgiving other than eating. I'm going to go with Doug. What do you think? All right. Go with
Yes.
Dougie. Dougie, what's your answer?
Watch football.
Number one answer is watch football.
Yes.
2 more answers on the board. Are you going to take it or pass? Play or pass?
You're right. All right, we're gonna take it.
They're playing it. They're playing it. All right. You're going to perfect. Starting now, going to Allison. There are 2 more answers on the board. Dougie got number 1. 2 and 3 still left. Name an activity you do on Thanksgiving other than eating. Cooking. Oh, that's the first X. All right, coming to Dougie. 2 more things on the board. Name an activity you do on Thanksgiving other than eating.
You know what? That's a hard one. Because football is kind of the main one there.
Other than eating.
Other than eating. Hang out with family.
You'd be surprised. You'd be surprised. Mom was the only one that put that, so it doesn't count. But Mom did put that. All
All right,
righty.
Allison, let's go here.
2 strikes on the board. Number 1 answer used. 2 more left. Going to Allison. Name an activity you do on Thanksgiving
I
other
remember
than
what I put
eating.
now.
Give it a go.
I'm not gonna say it though. Watch the parade.
That would
Good one.
Ooh,
that would have been a good one.
That's a good one.
Listen, I'm not gonna.
Get these from?
I am not about to take a position where I ridicule those that took the survey. But I'm going to talk about the people that took the survey. All right, they got 3 X's. There,
Right, you're at our camp. Hey.
Come on.
Okay.
The people want to see me.
All right,
People's choice.
3 X's.
I'm gonna let you
already
decide.
gone
Whatever
through
you
'em.
decide. Yeah,
There
you
are
could
2 more on the board. David never got to answer. All right. 2 answers on the board. All you got to do is answer 1 to steal the 100 points. Name an activity you do on Thanksgiving other than eating.
Arguing politics.
Arguing politics. That's a good one, too.
Where
All
are
right.
you having Thanksgiving?
That's right. Listen, that's true. That's everybody's Thanksgiving right now.
Everyone's.
All right.
not yet.
That's why that was one.
Yeah, they already said that's number 1 answer.
I said watching football.
Number one answer was already taken.
Number one.
I'm going to say pretty much everybody put watching football,
I have
except
to
for
assume that.
the last two. All right. Number 3 answer was drinking,
All right.
which to some people is a pathetic activity,
I
but
do
it's an
that
activity nonetheless.
I do that every day.
Yeah, Thanksgiving is not special. That also being said, the second answer on the board, number 2, napping.
Napping.
You should have. You should have. All right. Now,
That makes sense too.
Dougie gets 100 points with Allison. All right, they take the lead. Going to our next subject. All right, but on the buzzer,
There you go, Alex.
Donnie and Allison, we're going to be going. You cannot hit the buzzer until I finish the prompt.
Wait, hands on the table too, man.
Yeah, they got you.
Yeah, but
I
hang on a
got
minute.
yelled for that last time.
Hey, wait, compared to her, I'm like 9'10" over here.
So that means you should have more oomph on it then.
I don't want to break the buzzer.
You're not
Well,
gonna break
you
the
know what?
buzzer.
With it, yours is the broken one, so feel free to.
All right.
Okay,
Wait, hang on. So which hand are you hitting it with? Your left or your right?
All right.
She's using her
You're
right.
right.
This
Okay.
is getting real.
There we go.
All right. First one to hit the buzzer. Name something you eat on Thanksgiving that starts with the letter P.
I don't even know. I heard a lot of bumps.
I know. I was okay. Allison taking the lead. Name something you eat on Thanksgiving that
You're
starts with the
giving
letter
her
P.
way too much time,
Go.
dude.
Potatoes.
Potatoes, number 2 answer.
That's
Don
number
can stale it. 3 answers on the board. Can you say
Pecan pie?
pie is it? Number 1 answer on the board. All right, you're gonna take it. Play 3 strikes for number 3. You gonna play it or pass?
No, we're gonna play, right? Well, let me talk to my partner over here.
Can't think about it that long. You playing or passing?
Passing.
We're gonna pass.
They're gonna pass. All right.
No one ever does it, but we
To
are.
Team Dougie and Allison, you got
Gotta have-
3
we gotta have
attempts.
a mini.
Look at this. This is just like
They don't
Family
get time.
Feud. Yeah, come on.
They got
Hey, whoa, Family Feud, they get to.
Yeah, while the other group's talking. All right.
We got a microphone in our face. I don't want them to hear our answer.
Yeah, so
Usually
you're up.
Separated.
All right, you're up. First strike. You got no strikes on the board. Dougie, name something you eat on Thanksgiving that starts with the letter P. Looking for the number 3 answer.
We're gonna go with popcorn.
All right. That's the first one down. 2 more strikes. We're going to move it on to Allison. Allison, name something you eat.
That was
She
her.
very much regrets giving Dougie her only answer. Now, to Allison, name something you eat on Thanksgiving that starts with a P. I'm going to suggest, Doug, you start brainstorming because this will be coming back to you.
Pumpkin rolls.
That is a damn good one. Kemp was the only one that put that, so that's a.
Okay, so let me check. So pumpkin pie is a big part of Thanksgiving. You're saying pumpkin pie would fall under pie,
Pie.
then?
Pie.
So pumpkin wasn't even pumpkin anything, was
It's
it?
that pumpkin roll. Kemp nailed it with the pumpkin roll.
Oh,
You
my
should know
God.
your pumpkin
What
roll.
are people eating with peas?
All right, 2 X's. Going to Dougie. Going to Dougie to play it.
We're gonna go with peas.
Ding, 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 ding. They got it.
Yes!
The P was the P.
I'm so happy.
Can I make a request?
Yeah.
Say that either.
Okay. Can you at least tell us how many answers are
Yeah,
on the board?
3. Yeah.
No, but how many people
It's
said
always- wait, it's
those
always 3?
answers?
No. This
Oh,
next
that
one's 4. So
Okay.
I think I've been saying it too quick. So I'll make sure to further
Yeah, you know,
emphasize.
Steve Harvey had a stutter and he talked fast.
All right, going on to the third section here. Dougie and Allison are dominating Friendly Feud with 200 points on the board. All right, back to the top with David and Dougie. All right, don't hit the buzzer until I finish the prompt. 4 answers on the board. What is the best way to cook a turkey? David.
Deep frying.
Number 2 answer on the board is deep fry. Dougie, you could try to steal it.
Number 2. Oven.
Oven is not an action.
Oven
What is the
baked.
best?
Baked.
Baked. Baked is number one. All right, you gonna play it or pass? There's four.
There are 4. Okay.
4.
So we got
Yeah, 2 are already used.
I know there's only so many ways. Do we
So
want to play or pass?
play or
then?
pass? They're playing
We're gonna
it.
play it. All right.
All
then it
right.
goes to you now,
This now
Allison.
goes to Allison. 4 answers on the board. Number 1 answer already chosen, baked. Number 2 answer already chosen, fried. Looking for number 3 and number 4. Looking to you, Allison. What is the best way to cook a turkey? Smoked. Ding, 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 ding. Number 4 was smoked. All right, we're looking for the number 3 answer. We've got baked, we've got fried, and finally we've got smoked. Looking for number 3, Dougie.
I'm gonna say grilled.
I like where your head's at, but
I wasn't sure
That's
that
a-
would
I-
be there,
but you're in the realm of what these. All right, Allison, that's an X. 1 answer left. What's the best way to cook a turkey?
I can't believe that's.
I don't think someone would
I
cook
can't
it
think
that
that's an
way,
option. Well, I have one, but I'm not sure that's.
You say
Boiled.
boiled turkey, not in our house. All right, so 2 X's on the board. 1 answer still up for grabs. Number 3 out of 4. What is the best way to cook a turkey, Dougie?
What's your thought? Give me a thought here, Alex.
Well, that's that camera.
Do it. Go for it. All right. I'm gonna go for a barbecue turkey.
Some would say that's grilled.
No, barbecue is different. There's a whole style to it.
Okay.
All right?
He's a Jamaican jerk kind of guy. All right.
Hey, we got a chef over there. He should know what I'm talking about. There are different ways.
All right. Chance to steal for Don and David. You got to get the 1 answer on the board. This is your chance to steal the 100 points. What is the best way to cook a turkey?
Alex, I'm going to say roast.
Bingo! They steal the point.
Oh.
Ding, 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 ding. All righty.
Now,
So now
theoretically, though, roast and baked are the same.
there
thing.
are this. I anticipate. Wait, just so you know, I anticipated being grilled on this matter. So I prepared myself. Just so you know, baked is 375 degrees or less, and roasted is 400 degrees or higher.
Well, there
So
you go.
That's the difference. Both are in an oven. That being said, let's move on now to our 4th
So
topic.
it's 2-1,
But no
right?
government involved in this turkey
Yeah,
roast.
no government,
Hey,
no
how many
no
rounds?
turkeys pardoned on the Harvey show.
How many rounds we playing, Harvey?
6, or if we got to go to an extra one, we have to. But now it's between Don and Allison. Going to the 4th subject here, we got 200 points. Doug and Allison, 100 points. Don and David. All right. Name something you do the day after Thanksgiving. Don.
Go Christmas present shopping.
Shopping. Number 1 answer on the board. Bing, 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 bing. All right. There are 3 answers on the board. You got number 1. Play or pass?
We're gonna play.
They're going to play.
Alex.
All right. So going to David. You've got the number 1 answer on the board. 2 more to go. Name something you do. You're right. I'm too used to them dominating. That's what.
We dominated last time. It was
So,
all us, obviously.
Name something you do the day after Thanksgiving, David.
Eat leftovers.
That's a good one. Doug was the only one that put that,
I
actually.
said that, actually. So that was going to be one of my
put
answers.
he pulled the Always Sunny where he took the survey. All right, so 1 X on the board. Number 1 answer chosen. Looking for 2 and 3. Name something you do the day after Thanksgiving. Don.
I'm going to decorate for Christmas.
Bingo!
Oh!
All right. They've got 2 answers. 1 X. 1 more opportunity left to steal the points. Let's take it. I think we're on David, right? David, name something you do the day after Thanksgiving.
We're going to go with absolutely nothing.
Can you elaborate?
Like relax, sit on the couch, watch some TV, nap,
We need a specific answer here. all right?
sleeping.
We're not playing guess
You
100
listed
answers.
a bunch of activities.
Yeah, we're
there.
not
I did listen
Can
playing
you narrow it
100
down
answers.
to one of them?
One of them?
Plenty of room for activities.
So are you doing things?
Step Brothers.
Am I doing things? No, I'm not doing anything. I'm
Are you
relaxing.
watching TV?
Yeah, watching TV.
All right, then I'm gonna go with an.
Darn. Okay.
All right.
Bait and switch action here.
2 X's.
Oh.
I refrain from giving hints, but like David was within something. He was in a realm. What do you do, Don, the day after Thanksgiving?
Well, I sit on the couch, but my wife cleans the house.
Oh, it's cleaning the house?
That's not a bad answer.
Yeah, I think she's cleaning the house.
All right. So here we are. We've got three
They're not gonna
X's,
get it like that.
2 answers used so far. 1 still up for grabs. The 3rd answer on the board. 50 people on Instagram took our survey looking for the answer. Going to Dougie. Name something you do the day after Thanksgiving.
Sleep.
Ding, 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 ding.
Oh,
That's
What the
it.
hell? We
You were
said
there.
nothing.
He
The
touched
doctor.
it. But you can't say watch TV and sleep.
He
I
said
said
5
do-
No,
I
you
said
said relax.
doing
You said
nothing.
watch TV. You
Right.
said doing nothing.
Doing
You
nothing.
didn't
And what is
say
sleeping?
sleep.
Doing nothing.
No,
I'm
sleeping
calling the
is
party
sleeping.
foul.
Sleeping is
Shenanigans.
sleeping.
I'm going to have
Doing
the board
nothing
review
is
this.
Doing nothing.
It's
all
still
right?
doing.
Where's our
nothing.
challenge
Yeah.
flag?
Yeah.
Brian?
Come on, Brian.
Come on, Brian.
I'm siding with the judge on this one.
Oh,
You can't say sleep and watch TV. That's why I pried.
Yeah, he was giving like
and I
5
could-
answers.
And I pretty much led you there. I was like, one of those things is it, but not
That's
it.
actually what got Allison to get her thought, I think.
We share genetics. All right. That being said,
This is terrible.
Terrible. This is terrible.
Terrible.
all right. Don and David, if they sweep the next 2 rounds, they're going to take it to the tiebreaker. So this is going to be a big round.
Is it 3-1 right now?
3-1.
All right.
Going to
Who is it?
David and
Is
Dougie.
it David and me now? All right.
Name a food that you eat on Thanksgiving, but not any other time of the year.
I'm going to say green bean casserole.
Number 1 answer on the board is green bean casserole. There are 3 answers on the board. You have 2 more to go. Are you going to play it or
3
pass?
answers. Do you have any things you eat on Thanksgiving that you don't eat the rest of the year? Because we got a lead, so we
I don't know. Play or
We got
pass?
a lead. We could pass and see if it comes back to us. Ooh, putting the pressure on me here. I'm not sure I can think of any more, so we'll go with pass.
We're gonna
take
pass
our lead
it?
and we'll
All
try
right.
to see if we can cushion it.
There,
There's 3.
there are 3 answers on the board. Number 1 was green casserole, which they have chosen. Number 2 and number 3 are still up for grabs. Going to Don. Or actually, you didn't answer. So going to David. Name a food that you eat on Thanksgiving, but not any other time of the year.
Cranberry sauce.
Number 2 answer. Ding, 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 ding. All right. We've got ourselves an interesting match here. No strikes on the board. 1 answer left. Can Don nail? Name a food that you eat on Thanksgiving, but not any other time of the year.
Turkey.
Yeah, that's got to be a hard no.
Allison was the only person that put that.
Did you say that? I'm glad that we passed that.
Who else eats turkey
I feel like
on any
I
other
I
day?
agree.
We
I
do
agree.
garbage. Most people do turkey on the Christmas too, though, man. Like, turkey is not a
Nonsense.
specific to Thanksgiving thing, man. It may be the main part of Thanksgiving, but it is not the specific.
All right.
Well, we got a
One-
list over here.
1 X on the board. 3rd answer still up for grabs. David, name a food that you eat on Thanksgiving, but not any other day of the year.
We're going to go with sweet potatoes.
That's a good one, but
Yeah. Again, my family does sweet potatoes on Christmas too. There's a reason I didn't my thinking is pretty sound based on these answers, and it's feeling good. It's feeling
All right.
good.
2 X's on the board. Don and David. Third answer still left.
Look at
Don.
them with their notepads over
Name
there.
a food that you eat on Thanksgiving, but not any other time of the year.
Pumpkin pie.
That's a good one too. That's a great one
I'm-
because that's literally the only time of year I have that pie.
That's a fair one right there. I think
I
a lot
am
of people might
literally-
say that.
Considering leaving America.
Right?
Right?
I don't even want to live in this country
Where-
anymore.
Where have you people gone? Seriously, I'm moving to Poland.
Are you
moving to
Are you
Poland.
pulling a Randy from South Park? You know, where's my country gone?
I said that
Where
a
has my
decade and a half
country
ago.
gone?
I'm going to Poland. I'm telling you.
They still got to get it though.
They
All
still
right.
got to get it.
You got to grab this last answer to steal the point. They narrowed it
But
down
we
to
got
1.
the number 1 though.
Right.
Wouldn't we still win even if we
No,
lose?
you got to get this last one
No, then we
to
get the
steal.
point.
They get the points. That's what
Ah.
you get for passing. Hi.
Hello.
Who,
All
whose
right.
shirt is it?
It
Is
has
Alex?
nothing
Goes
to
to
do-
Allison.
Alex, it has
Doug already
nothing to
answered
do
it.
with your man
We
boobs.
can
You
still
just
talk about it.
you're just
Billie
in the way.
Eilish. All right. Starts with Allison. This is your chance to dunk it.
That's wrong.
Yeah, Allison, name a food you don't eat on Christmas, Doug.
So far, it's all lined
All right.
up that way.
You got to answer.
You
They're
gotta
out of
answer.
time.
That's
They're out
it.
of Time.
Name a food that you eat on
That's a good one.
Thanksgiving,
I'll go with
but
that
not
one.
any other time of the year. Oh my God, they got it.
Partner of the year right here.
That's it. Oh my
She has
gosh.
literally said, "I'm sure the answer" all 3 times now.
yeah, I'm sure she's
Hey.
nailed it.
I make stovetop stuffing like every other week.
But most people
just
don't,
telling you.
though, man.
All right.
Yeah, you're keeping them in business.
I want to
the rest
do
of the
at
year.
least the one last topic just for the honorable mentions. Just for the honorable mentions.
Just by our existence here.
So I think it goes to Don and Allison to
Don
hit
and
the buzzer, right?
All right.
All right, this one's just for fun. Name something that was not on the pilgrim's table that will be on your Thanksgiving table. Don.
Stuffing.
Are
you kidding me? They didn't have
So,
I got some spit on the
Allison,
microphone.
name something that was on the pilgrim's table that will not, that will, name something that was not on the pilgrim's table that will be on your Thanksgiving table.
I know my answer was right. I can confirm.
Say
that it
your
wasn't
answer then.
there,
Oh.
Then what?
but it's not on there. So I'm gonna do what Mom said, which was sweet potato.
Wow.
But
Literally
they- whoa,
nobody
there's
got
no
an
way
answer.
they had
Hang on,
sweet
what did she
potatoes
say?
back then. There's no
Sweet
way.
potato
They did not have-
casserole.
Sweet potato casserole.
But they
All
didn't
right,
have
so,
casseroles
hang on,
back
so,
then.
So I gotta understand. Like, where did this data come from?
It's a survey.
The
Instagram
A
survey
survey of whom?
of internet people.
Of people who follow him on
So
Instagram.
leftists is what you're telling me. Okay.
yeah.
All right.
All right.
All right. So,
So-
now I know.
It goes to the top. And a lot of the ones you guys brought up, I have.
Yeah.
But for it to make the list, we got to have at least 2 people.
Okay.
But multiples acknowledge it so we don't have off the walls
I got
answers.
one.
This is
I got
fun.
All right.
So-
Going to David. Name something that was not on the pilgrim's table that will be on your Thanksgiving table.
Wine.
Now is
Jesus.
alcohol on there, or is that a true no? Because
I'll say no to alcohol. I'll
Okay.
say,
because I
but I'm not
You're
going to
the
rule out
feds.
beverages, but alcohol is off.
All right.
Okay.
Damn, I wish I
So,
knew that when I
I
answered.
have one, but like
Go
I'm
ahead
gonna,
and
I'm
give
gonna
it.
go with a fun one. I'm betting they didn't have a TV to watch football.
Oh my God. Somebody trying to get something on the list. Don.
Hang on a minute. Tell me the question
Maybe
again.
we should never have gotten to this subject because the whole thing's unraveling.
Because
here
now
at
we're
the
having
end.
fun. It's already
Well,
over. We won.
It's a terrible question considering who you were asking, but read the question one more time.
Name something that was not on your pilgrim's table that will be on your Thanksgiving table.
I guarantee you that.
Weller.
Say
Bourbon.
no alcohol.
Bourbon.
So you
Oh,
missed
no,
that.
all
So I'll
right.
give you
so
another
that
try.
doesn't count because I
Right.
missed that part. Something that was on their table that was not on mine.
No, something
No, the
that's
other
not
way
on theirs
around.
that is on yours.
All right. I don't know. I have corn, but they had maize. Is
So
that
just say what you laughed about.
say what I laughed about?
Yeah, remember you made a passing comment like, that would be on the list.
See, now I don't remember. Bourbon? No alcohol. Maize. I don't know. Corn.
I've got to guess.
Going to Allison.
Well, got me confused.
Nobody has picked any on this list.
This was a tough one.
You need to get better, like participants.
Cranberries.
Cranberries.
Okay.
Nope.
This round is dissolved by the hands of the host.
Because it's
Now,
horrible.
now this is what I want to say.
all your
Okay,
fault.
this all being said, the prompt: name something that was not on the pilgrim's table that will be on your
Everything we've said
Thanksgiving. Shut up, Doug.
was on ours.
Name something that was not on the pilgrim's table that will be on your
An
Thanksgiving
advent
table.
calendar.
That being said, there are 4 honorable mentions, and then I will get to the answers.
All right, let's go.
Honorable mentions: Josh said a 9mm handgun. Brian said a scalped engine in their native gear.
Ooh.
That's because at his dinner table they have scalped engines just in regular gear, like an engine with an E.
Hey, did you spell it engine or I-N?
En engine.
No, it's engine.
It is engine. Yeah,
Yeah, but
scalped engines.
you
Not
talked about
trying to be
you
racist.
talked about a scalped Indian. You're not being racist.
How you like my carburetor?
Yeah, it's right. He did in gear. Name something that was not on the pilgrim's table that will be on your Thanksgiving table. Vinny said gay beer, and Kemp said freedom.
Wait, what is gay?
Bud Light. Remember we were talking about that?
Bud Light is not gay beer.
No,
Bud
yes,
Light
it
is
is.
just really bad tasting beer.
Sounds gay to me. All right. So name something that the real answers that were up for grabs that nobody got. So maybe this would never have been a topic.
Never, ever.
Name something that was on the pilgrim's that was not on the pilgrim's table that will be on your Thanksgiving table. Number 3 answer was Diet Coke, but we were accepting pop.
I told her to say Coke too.
Number 2 answer was green bean casserole.
That was been my answer for everything.
You made a laughing joke about it. I'm like, say
I
that.
did, yeah. 'cause
Say
no,
that.
Because no one likes green bean casserole.
I love green. Whoa. I will have to argue that. I live for green bean
Okay.
casserole.
Nobody
I
likes it
only
but
get that
Doug.
on holidays.
Fair.
My
God,
family makes some
Would you
killer
donate
green
your
bean.
organs for green bean casserole?
If it was $1 million worth of green bean casserole, then maybe.
All right.
I'm not even a fan of Mrs. Lloyd's green bean casserole. And I can say that because she ain't watching.
Until we
Ouch.
show this. to her.
Ouch. All right. Number 1 answer on the board. Name something that was not on the pilgrim's table that will be on your Thanksgiving table. Mac and cheese.
Oh.
Now, see, the Indians had mac and cheese, let me tell you.
But
Let
is
me
that
tell you-
really a Thanksgiving meal?
Let me
Like-
tell you a story about mac and cheese.
Oh, God.
So my son played football for a team in Bedford Heights. Okay, he was the only white boy on this team. Everybody else was African American, and we played a game the day after Thanksgiving in Indiana. So we made this big travel thing and played there, and we had Thanksgiving dinner that night. And I'm like, darling, where's this to my wife? I call my wife darling because she's darling. So I said, darling, because that's what I call her. Where's the stuffing? And she said, there's no stuffing. there's mac and cheese. And that was the moment that I learned that mac and cheese is a fixin' for
The South.
Thanksgiving.
The South, right?
The South.
though,
Yeah,
right?
it's also in
another direction.
it's also a northern African American cuisine for Thanksgiving dinner. There's no stuffing, like
Sure.
right? Because as I mentioned earlier, I make stovetop stuffing
Kraft mac and cheese.
twice a month,
Kraft
right?
mac and cheese.
It goes with the chicken, it goes with whatever, right? Stovetop. But mac and cheese is what they make, what they have.
They? What do you mean they?
Well, the Southerners.
I
the
can't lie.
Southerners and
I
and
would
the
prefer
African
mac
Americans.
and cheese over stuffing. Like
Really?
my family
Wrong.
makes stuffing.
Yeah,
I love
that's
stuffing.
crazy.
I'll eat stuffing, but
Oh
I
my
wouldn't
God.
say I prefer stuffing
But
over mac and
cheese.
cheese.
The reason stuffing's only eaten one time a year.
Stuffing is the
I'll
best
agree with
thing
that.
on that
is
table.
I love like stovetop stuffing
best
is just
thing on the
it's a real
100%.
quick fix.
Oh my God.
It's
Stovetop
great
is a
that
real
time of
quick
year,
fix.
but the rest of the year, I'm down for.
No,
mac
we
and
eat
cheese.
it in the summer, we eat it in the winter, we eat it in the spring, we eat it in the fall.
There you go.
That's what we do. This
And
is how we
none of
do.
it was on the Pilgrim's table. That being said, thank you for your time. We appreciate you joining us live. The whole purpose of the live show is to get you involved. Yeah, we love having fun like this, but I want to thank everybody that joined our survey, no matter how ludicrous some of these answers were. It was a blast.
Lunatic.
So, guys, thank you for joining. We're always looking to get you involved. So please be sure to jump on those comments. Find all of our content on our website at www.rethinktankpodcast.com. Otherwise, we'll catch you on the next episode next Tuesday, 7 p.m. As always, peace.
Donate your organs.
2-0.
Donate your organs.
2-0.
Donate
2-0.
them. Donate your organs.